Brian Tooley Red Hot Camshaft. It's been a hot topic on our YouTube channel and for good reason. It's a great cam. I'm not going to call it a little cam. I'm not going to call it a big cam, sorry. It's a good camshaft. Like, it works well and it's right in the middle of, small and big. The car that we're dealing with, quick rundown on what it is, just so you know what we're doing. So Holden HSV, Maloo Ute, LS3 engine. It's got the automatic transmission with the standard stall converter. It's come for one of our stage 4 packages, which consist of the pacemaker 4-in-1 extractors, 1 7/8, 3-inch high flow catalytic converters, and then a 3-inch rear section all the way at the back through the mufflers, and then obviously at the back. So we always use the VCM performance cold air intake over the radiator, and we also maintain the airflow meter. Honestly guys, if you go on MAFless, you just really don't need it. I will do a video back-to-backing MAF and MAFless, and look, unless you've got a decent stick in it, you just don't need to do it. Keep the factory operating system where it is. It works well. There's plenty of tuners out there who will tell you have to change. You do not have to change. I've been doing this long enough now to be able to say with a smile on my face, with the absolute honesty, you just don't need to go MAFless unless you hit a point where you cannot tune the vehicle. And I tell you, it's some pretty wild setups that you need to get rid of it. So, but that's for another day, another video. A couple other things that we did add with this one. Obviously, it's got a camshaft, Red Hot Chili in it, or Red Hot, sorry. So camshaft, push rods, dual valve springs, and we've also added the BTR trunnion kit. These cars are now at the age where we're recommending everybody does the trunnion upgrades on all packages now. It's not mandatory, but we are recommending it. It only takes 3 roller needles, if they let go, to find their way somewhere in the engine where you can't get to it, and you've got to pull the whole engine out. For the sake of, say, I think they're $300 or whatever they are. Don't quote me, but they're on their website. Now, for the sake of that, put them in. Don't have to worry about them blowing to pieces and filling your engine up with needle rollers. Then you got to go fishing them all out. And I can tell you right now, you're never going to get them all out until you strip the engine. And even when you do strip the engine, you have a hard time finding them all as it is. So just cheap insurance. If you're planning on doing a camshaft, guys, take my advice, please do the trunnion kit. You won't look back, you won't regret it anyway, and you'll thank me, in the future. So let's talk about the camshaft. So obviously Brian Tooley Red Hot. So it is a 221 240X 619 617 113 lobe set. A lot of people will say it's the same as the Stage 2. It is not the same as the Stage 2. It is similar to the Stage 2, but it is not the same. The Stage 2 is on a 112 lobe set, I'm pretty sure. It's a 230X, and it's got more lift. So 2 very different camshafts, which have 2 very different purposes. Obviously, if you're looking at putting a Red Hot in your car, this would be the main reason. You're thinking about putting a supercharger on it later down the track. Or you're indecisive whether you're going to or whether you're not going to, but you kind of want to spend the money once and not have to change your cam later. This camshaft works equally as well aspirated as it does with the blower on it. And that's even with a positive displacement, a side mount, even the turbocharger. Like any forced induction, it works well. It obviously works really good in a positive displacement application, as we've done on previous videos. It makes 500 plus kilowatts on a blower application, quite comfortable, and it tunes up very nicely. So if you're in that spot where you're considering putting a blower on later, then this is a cam to go for. The Stage 2 will also work, but this cam is better suited to a blower. If you're going to go down the aspirator path and nothing but the aspirator path, then I'm going to say Stage 2 version 2. However, I will do a back-to-back test on this cam and a Stage 2 version 2 when the scenario presents itself, when I can do it. I will be doing it just to show you the difference between it. I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot. I just think this one's going to be better suited in a blower application. But let's talk about the power. So, car came to us in stock form and made 284 kilowatts, 484 Newton meters. Now, when I say stock engine, stock everything. However, it did have a twin 2.5-inch catback exhaust. Honestly, not going to do much for the power. This is very close to what these things make stock on the hub dyno. Don't forget, we are always on the hub dyno, and I will always do these videos on the hub dyno. So expect to see 10 to 15 kilowatts high readings here as you would on a roller dyno. We've done videos based on this before. We don't need to talk about it anymore. If you have been following along, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you should probably go back and watch some of the videos that we've done on that, just so you know what we're dealing with, because I always get people come into these videos and they comment, you know, too high figures, too low figures, whatever, yada, yada, yada. We're dealing with the exact figures that we're starting with, and we always do before and afters when we're doing these videos. So we have a absolute reputable baseline. So what did it do after that? There's the blue line. This is the Red Hot. Check it out. 349.8 kilowatts, 557 newton meters. Yeah, 349.8 kilowatts. That annoyed me. I tried to get to the 350, it just wouldn't do it. But if you have a look at the bottom of the curve, you can see it's better from the moment you get going, all the way, it's better. No, a little bit lazy coming to 3200, but it's still better than the stock line. Get the 3200, starts to pull on. 3400 starts to climb, and you get the drift. You know, as you keep going, it's pulling away, pulling away, pulling away, and as you get to 5400 RPM, it's towering above it. And then the same scenario with the torque, and you obviously got peak torque at around, what do we got here? So 4800 revs is your peak torque, and holds that to about 5600 revs. So nice peak torque through the middle range. Good for street driving, good for daily use, will work exceptionally well. In that case, it does work really good on the standard converter. In this car being an LS3, the extra cubes just help it eat up the camshaft. This little dip here, if you're wondering, you know, it sort of comes on, rolls off a little bit. This is the standard converter. Now the converter is unlocked here. Once we get up to around 4500, the converter is locked. So you can see if you were to put a decent converter, like say put like a 3000 or 3200 converter in this, this here would instantly be up over here. So you can see the torque would be instantly up. So you'd fill this hole. So you'd end up with the torque curve that sort of goes across over here. And that's where the converter brings these to life. Now, I get a lot of my customers thinking when you put a converter in these things that it's like the old days of the Turbo 400 and a 2-speed glide. You know, buzzing their head off down the highway, revving their brains out, cooking the transmission fluid. Do not be confused. New modern transmissions with lockup converters do not do that. So the beauty of it is that we can have the converter unlocked in those low down areas where it's required based on throttle position. So when you get your foot into it, we can have the converter unlocked. But when you come back to highway speeds and you slow down into a cruising state, we flick the converter lockup on, and it goes back to one, you know, pretty much goes back to a locked drive. So you can have a 5000 stall converter with a lockup, and you're still going to cruise down the highway like a stock car, but you're going to have the benefits of that converter when you get on it. Instantly unlocks the converter, revs flare up, away you go. Instant torque, torque multiplication comes from the converter, and that literally pulls you straight into peak power, and away you go. So you can imagine this car with a 3200 converter, it's just going to hit 3200 and sing all the way to redline, and then you'll lock the converter up once you get past that certain area. So, so I hope if you're looking at doing this and you're being deterred away from, or pushed away from doing a converter because you're being raised up in the older generation where that's all you knew was the converters were cooking their brains out. Well, no, that's not the case anymore. And I get this a lot of time. Like a lot of people always ask us, about. They just don't want to put a converter in them, and they're scared of converters. Do not be scared of converters. They are the best thing you can put in it. So even though a lot of my videos I'm drumming on about this works with a standard converter, the reasons behind it that we do always push camshafts that work with standard converters is because a lot of people are just scared to put a converter in. And if you put a converter in with any camshaft, it's going to make it so much more better. I'd put a converter in before I did diff gears. People do diff gears before they do converters. It's crazy. Do the converter, then do diff gears later. Most of these cars have the right diff gears to suit them as it is. So, but yeah, look, I hope you liked this video. LS3, Red Hot BTR. BTR, no surprises. They've done a great job as always. We've got plenty more videos in the pipeline that we're going to start testing. And we've got our test mule, which you would have seen the video for that. We've got a lot of testing to do. We're going to test out a lot of different companies, different camshafts. We've got a selection of cams and camshafts that I've hand-picked from other places that we want to, try out and see what we think, and bring to you, the public, what works, what does. Well, not a case of finding what doesn't work. It's a case of finding the right combination, the right cake mix that helps you guys select the correct parts the first time without having to, take your car to a workshop, drop it off with a whole heap of parts that you bought online, and then the workshop says, mate, they're no good to us. We're not going to use that crap. It doesn't work together. And look, it happens all the time. And all due respect to any other workshop, it happens. That's what they do. Our job as a workshop is to point you in the right direction, give you the right tools, the right information, the right parts, and get you set up the first time. So you spend the money once. Money's too hard these days to earn. So so you don't want to waste it. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for taking the time. It's 10 minutes of your life you're not going to get back, but I'll tell you what, you probably learned something out of this video, and if you did, then it's a bonus for everybody. And please don't forget, subscribe, guys. Keep those subscribes going. Hit the bell. Makes me want to make more videos, I guess. So, but anyway, catch you later. See you next time.